fighting hard.
Tasmania's Denise Millikan has been runner-up in the women's doubles and the mixed doubles. Will it be third time lucky in the singles final? She leads Pam Whitehouse of Queensland by 2 games to 1 and 19-16 in the fourth.
It's Denise Millikan's turn to be a little bit tense now.
That's right, she's looking very tense. She knows that she mustn't let this slip now. The next 2 points could be vital. And it's the forehand hit of Denise that wins her that point again. It's been the outstanding factor of this game all the way through. 20.
Only 1 point away from winning the Australian title.
And that's it.
Denise Millikan has won.
Very confusing, but it was a very happy thought. I thought, oh, you know, all that work is worth it, and it was a really terrific feeling, and I don't think I'd ever relive it again. It was really fantastic.
And how long have you been trying to win the Australian Championships?
Well, I've been going to senior championships since 1974, and I first got to the final in 1977, and I was runner-up then, so about the last 7 or 8 years I've been trying really hard.
It was a long week of table tennis with the interstate championships as well. Did this help you?
I think so, because some of the players I played during the actual singles championship I'd played during the teams matches earlier on, and I had a better idea of their game, and I think I gained a lot in tactics, and I think it helped me during the championship itself.
You defeated Kerry Thompson, the Australian #1 ranking, in the semi-finals. This must have given you great confidence.
Yes, it did, because I went out there thinking, well, she's the #1 seed, I'm #4, and I had nothing to lose, and I think I was a much more relaxed player than she was, and my game just clicked and everything went together, and I beat her actually very easily.
And how did you go against Pam Whitehouse during the interstate event?
Well, we played Queensland on the Wednesday night of the championships, and she beat me very easily, so I thought when I had to play her in the final that, you know, she had a bit of an edge on me.
Well, you lost the first game to her convincingly, and at one stage you were 15-20 down in the second game. What had gone wrong to that stage?
Well, I think perhaps Pam was very confident, and I think she relaxed earlier than I did in the match, and she got on top in the first game. In the second game, well, I thought, well, I'm down, so I'll have to change my game a little bit, and I started to attack and use my forehand, and it started to win me a few points, and when I won the second, it just gave me that little bit of extra confidence, and I just went on with it.
The national coach, Mike Johns, commented a lot on your forehand. Has it always been one of your strengths?
Yes, I think the forehand is my asset. It's not always consistent, but I think that's what I usually practice a lot, because it wins me so many points.
So coming to the final game, we've just seen the closing stages. You were chock full of confidence?
Well, I was confident, but I was trying not to get overconfident and trying to concentrate hard on just every point and not trying to look at 21, because if you do, you know, you get overconfident, next thing you know, you've lost.
You could see in the closing stages, and once again Mike John was saying you were obviously starting to tense, looking for the final leap.
Yes, I was, because you know, you can get distracted and you think, well, you know, I can be Australian champion, and it took all my might to make me not concentrate hard on that point.
How much benefit was it playing on your home court?
Oh, I think I must have definitely had an advantage, because the crowd followed me not just that night but the whole week, and I knew that they were behind me and they boosted me, and it was really good.
Coming back to the forehand, and you mentioned attacking, you're quite unique in that you play with and against men in the roster that's on tonight. What benefit has this been? Oh,
it's been terrific, because the men play aggressive too. They use forehands a lot, and I think by watching and playing against players like that, it forms into your own game, and I find I have to fight very hard aggressively against the men, and I think it's helped me a lot.
So all those cold winter nights here at the Sports Centre have certainly paid off, particularly looking at that training situation. What, apart from the roster, what other training did you do leading up to the championships? Well,
I trained very hard this year. I trained at least 4 nights a week, plus my roster night, and on Sunday afternoons, and I used to train at least an hour and a half, and it was an hour and a half hard training, and I used to vary playing against women and men, and I think that helps a lot too, because it's a different type of game.
How do you develop the reflexes, which are obviously so important in table tennis?
Well, it's very hard, but I think just again during practice, if you can stand as close to the table as possible and have somebody hit the ball very quickly at you in different spots, and you have to react very, very quickly if you are close to the table, and I think that's about all you can do and keep fit.
Well, going right back to the start, did you, like a lot of other people, just enjoy table tennis in the backyard or at home? How did you get into the game?
Well, my dad used to play years ago, and we used to play at home just for social reasons. And then I entered a sub-junior roster with my brother, a school children's roster. And through that I met Mr. Hannon, who's my coach now, and he sort of coached me since then. So it was sort of a lucky break, really.
Do you think it's been a disadvantage being down here in Tasmania with your table tennis?
A lot of people have said that, and I've sometimes thought it, but now that I've won this title, I've proven that I don't think I have any disadvantage at all. I think if you're prepared to work, you can make it.
Because the Tasmanian women's table tennis team did very well at the recent championships, didn't they?
Yes, I think that point has been overlooked. We did exceptionally well because Tasmania always comes second last. But up until the last match that was being played, we were equal second, and we only came fourth on a countback of match points. So we did exceptionally well.
And with your success, you've been rewarded with a number of trips overseas. Where have you been to?
Well, I've been to New Zealand, to Auckland for the Oceania tournament, and then I went to Scotland for the Commonwealth Championships and to North Korea for the World Championships.
And apparently Korea is quite incredible, the crowd support.
Yes, it is exceptionally incredible, because it's just like playing in a great big soccer ground, and the crowd just roars for every point. It's really incredible. It's very hard to concentrate.
When you talk about crowd roaring, how many of them?
There are about 15 to 20,000 people.
Really?
Yes, for a table tennis game, that's really incredible. Yes.
And in your early days, you went to Japan for coaching. What was it like over there?
Well, it was a very different type of training altogether, because they're very, very dedicated over there, and I thought I used to train hard here, but when I went over there, they changed my game right from the basics, and so I had to work even harder, but they push you very, very hard, and I thought at the time, oh, is it worth it? But I feel now that it was.
And the Japanese coach Yasu was here earlier in the year. What benefit was he to you looking at your Australian success?
Well, I feel that he didn't really individually coach, but he coached groups, and he taught us how to get the best out of our practice, and I feel that that's helped me a lot, because every time I've trained, I've come off the court feeling, well, I've worked very hard and I've trained constructively.
You've been rewarded with selection to the Australian team to go to the Pan-Pacific Games in New Zealand and the squad for the World Championships in Yugoslavia. This must be a major highlight.
Yeah, it is, yes. I'm very proud, and the New Zealand trip I think will be very good, because it's a young side and it's mainly giving people experience, and I'm just hoping now that I can make the team for the World Championships in April.
Well, what's coming up in the near future? Any tournaments?
Yes, there's the Ansett Tournament of Champions on the 15th and 16th of November, and that's a round robin between the top 8 men and women in Australia, and I think that will have a bearing on selections for the World Championships. So it's a very important tournament.
You've mentioned the places you've been to, but has it all been worthwhile?
Oh yes, of course. Sometimes you wonder whether it is, but now that I've won this title and I look back on things that I've achieved, I think it's very well worth it.
And it'll be interesting to follow the fortunes of Denise Millikan over the next year or two.